You are watching us on EtherWire podcast on a special season and playlist Desi Dhaakad. Desi Dhaakad is stories of guts, grit and glory. Our Desi Dhaakad today is none other than the Dhaakad of financial markets. She is on the fast dial of investors when it comes to picking up on market insights. Everybody on the Lal streets waits what her next strategy is. A financial whiz, she is diversity, she is markets. She is also called Shavak on the pitch. She is the Dhaakad, CEO of Kotak Alternate Managers for Investments and Strategies, Lakshmi Iyer.
Hi Jyoti, it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Lakshmi. Lakshmi means money. If I don't go to people, people come to me.
You have climbed mountains. Climbing is not an issue, conquering heights. What is pebble in the shoe for Lakshmi?
Sometimes I feel it's not the pebble in the shoe. At times it's the shoe itself, because right from start to where you are today, that's been the crux. It's not about the journey. The people say and all of that is perfectly fine. How do you keep adapting yourself to various terrains, for example? That's why I said it's more about the shoe, just not the pebble, because both of them matter.
Need to have the right gear.
Absolutely. Astra Shastra, as I call it.
What all gears you have used in 24 years? Which is one gear that is so critical now as a metaphor? We have used shoes.
No, the Brahmastra is yet to be used, I would say. Okay. It's been different roles, different markets. The markets have been giving you a lot of halchal. Your dil ki dhadkan keeps increasing. But how do you keep calm and keep saying all is well? And how do you continue to use the various arsenal that you have in your war chest to navigate all of this? But I still believe the best is yet to come.
So what has been your most defining moment in these last 24 plus years where you felt this is it?
Actually, Meenal, there have been many such moments. I can't really pinpoint one such moment, but I get very, very bogged down by monotony. It's like, Vikram Vetal, tu bola aur main chala kind of a thing. I like to excel at multiple things, but it's not jack of all trades and master of none. It is Jill of all trades and mastering everything. That's how the way I put it. So it's been series of, I would say, high points, which has defined or led to another moment. So, asset management industry I've done for like 26 years. But moving from public markets, only public markets at Kotak AMC to Kotak Alternates, it's been now 2 years plus, was one kind of thing where I said that it's time I shake myself out of something which I can do in my sleep, and then this is something which I have to be wide awake and still can't claim that I know it all.
It seems like, Lakshmi, your hands are really full. So are your calendars. You walk 7 to 8 kilometers a day, as we learned.
How did you know that?
I've been reading and watching you everything. I've been stalking you online.
Awesome.
Okay, it's a favorite homework. Like, watch Lakshmi. You're feeling down, you watch this part, It's very important because the way we see your panorama of activities, your role is very demanding as well. Your friends say that you're always available to them 24/7. There's something called as work-life balance, or what is your charging station?
So my charging station is H2O, water. I'm a teetotaler. Of course, I do have green tea, herbal. Today also I've carried my herbal kada with me. I keep using that all along. But I always tell everyone that we all have 24 hours, right? Am I the richest woman in the world? Am I the richest in India? Am I the richest in Mumbai? Answer is no. So if all of them are able to do all of that and still maintain a stature, then I'm like absolutely upon in the entire chess game.
Awesome.
And so much so, by the way, I don't know where you may not have got it on Google, that 365 days, and of course leap year 366 days, I drink warm water and I shower in cold water.
Wow.
Even if it's 4 degrees or 0 degrees, doesn't matter.
Oh my God, that's the fitness tip coming to you, guys.
Try it. It's totally worth it.
Cold water for bath, warm water for drinking, right?
That's right.
Oh, wow. I think this is a great interview that is currently going on, and you're watching exclusively on EtherWire podcast on a new playlist, Desi Dhaakad Season 1. Stay tuned, rapid fire coming up.
If inflation was a person, what advice would you give?
धीरे धीरे चल, चांद गगन में. You have to be as slow as you can. कहीं ढल ना जाए रात, टूट न जाए सपने because purchasing power gets impacted.
If the rupee were a character in a movie, which role would you cast in?
Ranveer Singh, he's my favorite.
If the dollar were a girl, what advice would you give her?
गोरे रंग पे ना इतना गुमान कर, गोरा रंग तो दिन में ढल जाएगा. Dollar is the reserve currency of the world, but dollar cannot be complacent.
Elon Musk calls you right now. What is the first question you would ask?
Oh, I love him. What will I ask?
Do you
तू
love him?
क्या चीज है यार? You know, have you seen Rocky or Rani?
Yes.
So Alia Bhatt asked Ranveer that तू क्या चीज है यार? And I don't know if Elon will say जो भी हूँ तेरा हूँ.
What historical figure you would want to meet and learn from?
झांसी की रानी.
Wow.
She had a short stint but an exemplary stint, so I'd love to sit across and share notes. And how did you manage to brave the Britishers as I'm braving the corporate world?
So one dish you can never resist at a party.
4 dishes actually, but the top is pani puri. I love pani puri, and the second would be pizza.
Your favorite guilty pleasure snack during the market hours?
2 C's, chocolate and cheese.
अगर इकोनॉमी एक बॉलीवुड मूवी होती तो उसका नाम क्या होता?
अपना टाइम आएगा.
Wow, outstanding. That was rapid fire with Lakshmi, and stay tuned for more. You have the question which you were wanting to ask on.
You know, given the current gender equality, we are way behind on the UN SDG 2030 gender equality score target that we have. So we are way behind. It's going to take a long time to get there. What would be your 3 key things that you would recommend, saying that this is what we need to do to accelerate it?
See, it can't be 3 things. It has to be multiple things. Perseverance is a non-negotiable.
Absolutely.
Again, this is not specific to any gender, but it is so very, very critical. Passion. I think the way they say faith can move mountains,
Right.
passion can help you conquer even the toughest situation. So I think that is extremely, extremely critical. And when you have all of this, and then you have a very, very conducive ecosystem around you, फिर तो सोने पे सुहागा हो गया. I think that is very, very critical. And I tell this to everyone, including the one who are aspiring to be there, to make it big in their career or in the industry, that lage raho. Don't quit, because quitting is the easiest. And you don't need people like us to do the easy things. You need us to do the more challenging things.
Absolutely.
Lakshmi, you're known as the goddess of financial literacy. And in India, that's an area that still needs attention. So what steps do you think are required to make India more financially aware?
एक तो मेरे नाम में भगवान है, and I'm not a goddess. That's point number 1. See, I'll tell you, financial literacy to me is actually like oxygen needed for breathing. It is a non-negotiable, whoever it is. And it has to become not a cult, but a habit. And there is a difference between a cult versus a habit. And I think the more you acclimatize yourself, when you get up, you're told that you need to brush your teeth first.
Right.
That's the first thing that you do,
Right.
and baki sab
Right.
kuch karo. So financial literacy has to be part of that backbone or that ecosystem for you. If that realization or that first point is not there, then whatever all of us keep doing, and I also equally believe that the pen is mightier than the sword.
True.
So just writing about it is equally important as much as popularizing. So I think it's a combination of all of these factors that we as practitioners can do, academia can do. In fact, I believe that practitioners and academia can actually work as 2 in a box and achieve this miracle. But it is, to my mind, a necessity as of yesterday.
Lakshmi, with regards to creating more Lakshmis out there, financial literacy, you've been at the forefront. You rightly said that there a lot needs to be done. Mutual fund industry is doing an exemplary work, MFI and other stakeholders as well. Do you think there is something still amiss? Should there be a show of investments like Shark Tank to really popularize investment at the grassroots?
See, why not? But I think the crux at the heart, according to me, is simplicity. The more simplified you make it, and it just makes life more bearable. The moment you talk about finance, and when you talk about to people who are not from this field, which is intuitively so many of them, the first feeling is that of intimidation. So how do you ease out that intimidation and make things human minds like to make things complex to make themselves indispensable. I think that's something which we need to really, really solve for as an industry, and the more the merrier. I mean, the more this is not going to be the case of too many cooks spoil the broth. So the more hands coming together and say that this is not a revolution but an evolution that we wish to seek, the sooner we get financial nirvana.
Investments को लेके there is a lot of awkwardness which doesn't get articulated on dining tables. Any advice or suggestions to women who wants to bring up conversation of investment over savings at home?
You know, Jyoti, I always tell this to every woman that, when you're talking about financial literacy, financial planning, being hand in glove in terms of what your investments are, it is actually gender agnostic. And then this dialogue came in much later, of course, and I'm sure you'd have seen this movie, the Gunjan Saxena Kargil Girl, when that dialogue which goes that जब plane को फर्क नहीं पड़ता उसे कौन चला रहा है तुम्हें क्यों फर्क पड़ता है.
Wow.
So when you start, kind of imbibing some of these, and these movies came in much later, but the necessity or the crux of the thing is that if you see he is a part of she. So, you actually have to have that collaborative approach. It is not a competitive approach. It's not that, okay, I'm doing it, so you don't need to do it. It's not that way. That inhibition has to actually give way to little bit of cumulative or, collaborative participation. Very critical. So, charity begins at home. So, ghar se shuru karo yaar.
Speaking of genderless nature of roles and styles and approach, there's something that we would like you to quantify, because what impact does the diversity brings to financial discussions or financial planning for an organization? You've been there, you've been a part of boards, you're right at the center of the taking the company forward. What impact does the diversity bring for the companies?
So I think two key ingredients which are required is IQ. So definitely it's a given. It's not that you need to be right there on top like Elon Musk, but IQ to zaruri hai. But I think what women bring to the table is EQ. And you have seen Ma Durga, she has 10 hands or multiple hands, for example. She is able to multitask. And Ravan ke 10 sar hai. So have you seen male epitome with 10 or 8 or you've not seen that, right? So when you have that image of a woman who can be a multitasker, why not use that in the corporate world? So I think it's so very important for women to realize what their strength is. Lord Hanuman didn't know what his strength was, that actually he could get himself into such a huge stature and then create whatever that he did in terms of upheaval. Create that upheaval, disrupt yourself, get out of your comfort zone. It's not that women can't do it. It's just that awareness. You need to invoke the Lord Hanuman in you. That's about it.
Wow. Did someone invoke the Hanuman in you? Any mentor or anybody who gave some advice?
Many actually in the industry, but someone who is like my perma mentor is actually my mom. She's a homemaker, but she ran the family, which I would put her akin to one of the best finance ministers of the house, actually, because there was one earning person. My father was the earning member in the family, and 4 of us to feed, including himself. And how do you manage that and ensure that all your needs are taken care of, and yet come with a fiscal surplus? I think it's so important. And that's when early on I got the lesson that, now we all talk about mindful leverage and all that, but she was the one who kept telling me that Amdani, Atthani, Kharcha, Rupaya in the long term is not sustainable. Very, very. And then that still stays with me. Even when I'm evaluating balance sheets, we're very allergic to debt, right? Excessive debt. So I think that's very important. So I think keeping some of these core principles, but yes, along the journey, I've spent my I said 2.5 decades plus in the Kotak group. I've come across some very, very, very solid mentors. I don't even call them mentors. I actually call them friends at work whom I can use as my punch bag, like literally punch bag. And they are like Lord Shiva who are waiting to absorb the wish and guide me along and make sure that my wishes are fulfilled. That's important.
Wow. Nice. No, this is amazing. And just a trivial thing I will mention, that I was watching this reel. Being in social media, you watch a lot of extra content so that you know what not to make. So there was this conversation, the famous wedding that went on for months. One astrologer was being quizzed कि कर्मा नहीं होता है क्या, मतलब rich people are only getting rich, why the karma doesn't bite them. So they said जहाँ पे लक्ष्मी खुश होती है ना वहाँ पे कोई गॉड का कुछ नहीं चलता है. All grays are sorted and शांत.
That is true. That is so correct.
One of the things, actually, one of the names we thought we should have for you is Lakshaswati. So we blended Lakshmi, Saraswati and gave it a twist. उसमें लक्ष्य भी आ गया. So
Excellent.
most important questions, of course, the markets.
So what are the market insights and predictions that you can share?
So, Meenal, only two people can give you great predictions on the market. One is liar and lucky people. My name starts with L, but I am neither. I'd like to say that there is an inherent strength in the Indian economy, which is going to stay irrespective of whatever happens across the globe. To that extent, we are an oasis in the desert. So there may be sandstorms in the desert, but if you are having that might, and the might around you right now is the visible macro and the micro, both of them are solving for itself. So yeah, go for it and go get it. I think if there is one stock that you need to be long, it's the stock called India.
Awesome. Fantastic. Couldn't have been a better way to
Yeah.
put that out. Awesome. This is especially around people we had met and somewhere your team, we have interacted to figure out what Lakshmi means to them. So one of the most beautiful line that comes, when you have Lakshmi, you really don't need anybody because she's a shavag on the pitch. Okay, she will get you the numbers. So she's every marketing sales delight to work in Lakshmi's team because वो खुद ही पूरा target कर सकती है. Really does. How does that feel? That the sense of that मैं सब संभाल लूँगी. I'm like,
For me, it's not about sab sambhal lungi. It is more like, have you seen Tumhari Sulu, Vidya Balan?
Of course.
It is about telling myself, main kar sakti hai. That's the one
Yeah.
that she said, because she was this middle class woman in Virar who actually traveled all the way to Churchgate to be a radio jockey. And whoever thought, and at the set, she is actually doing matar chilne ka kaam. So mind is your biggest barrier. So if you conquer your mind, you are able to manifest a lot many things that probably may not be your core competence, but telling yourself, and self affirmations are very important. That's all that I do. Trust me, there is no miracle in it, and it's no rocket science because I'm not a scientist. So if I can do it, I tell everyone can do it. It's about taking that little bit extra effort. वो एक जो push की हम बात करते हैं ना, वो nudge की जरूरत है बस. That's about it.
wow, the little nudge that's all is required. Fantastic. This question is for all of you to know what Lakshmi will be adding to her ether in 2025.
I want to add weights.
Weights?
To my ether, which is basically I want to do I do a lot of cardio, but when I see my mom around, when I see my mother-in-law around, I realize that they didn't invest their formative or formidable years in building their bone mass, and therefore I think this year for me is going to be of additional. I already do some of it, but adding additional weights to my ether.
Lakshmi, your journey has been an extraordinary one. I have been privileged to follow you and learn from you कि अगर बनना है तो मुझे ऐसा बनना है. Many youngsters follow you, and especially not just the early career women or the students in MBA institutes who can, go through, and they're looking for materials that they can get inspiration from. What is the one game-changing strategy which youngsters, reference to college pass-outs, should have that will keep them relevant?
So I think, and I say this to all of these wannabe students, and they are all on social media, that life is not all about gaining that instant gratification. It is very important to explain to them that patience is still a virtue, which is, kind of getting substituted by instant gratification. So I think that is one key message. And the second most important thing is success ka picha mat karo. Very, very important. Kabil bano. Automatically success jhak maar ke aapka picha karegi. I think that's so very, very important. In the pursuit of excellence is where we need to excel. I think that is so, so critical, and not chasing success. Success is a byproduct. The sooner you imbibe it, the happier you are.
You heard both the side of the panorama, not just the markets, debt or equity. It's not the fitness or food, but films as well. Lakshmi is the Desi Dhaakad you just heard. Thanks for staying tuned.